Pledge of allegiance to the
flag
of
of
the
the United States of America and to the republic for which it
republic
stands,
for which is
one nation, under God,
one nation,
What
under God,
under
indivisible,
with liberty
liberty and justice for
all.
all.
So weird. Okay, next item on the agenda is the roll call.
Mayor Lofgren,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ott, Trustee Westcott,
Here.
Trustee Kimmerly,
Here.
Trustee Jeffrey,
Here.
Trustee Strock.
Present.
Thank you.
And everyone is present and accounted for. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion from Trustee Ott and a second from Trustee Jeffrey. Roll call, please.
Trustee Strock,
Aye.
Trustee Ott,
Yes.
Trustee Westcott,
Yes.
Mayor Lofgren,
Yes.
Trustee Jeffrey, Trustee Jeffrey.
Yes.
Thank you. Trustee Kimmerly.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the motion carries 6-0. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. For the benefit of tonight's audience, the items on the consent agenda are the December 1st, 2020 payment approval report in the amount of $240,296.70, the October 29th, 2020 special meeting minutes, and the November 17th, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the
Approve
consent
the
agenda as
consent
presented.
agenda.
We have a dueling motion from Trustee Ott and Trustee Jeffrey, so we'll consider that a motion in a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Jeffrey,
Yes.
Trustee Strock,
Aye.
Trustee Ott,
Yes.
Trustee Kimmerly,
Yes.
Mayor Lofgren,
Yes.
Trustee Westcott.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And the motion carries 6-0. Next item on the agenda is action item 6A, the resolution 2020-17 concerning the budget. Mr. Stamey.
Thank you, Mayor. So there are two resolutions tonight. One is for the adoption of the budget and set the fund for each, the expenditures for each fund, and also a resolution to set the levies. So staff began working on the budget this past summer. We've had 3 work sessions with the board in August, in September, and in November, culminating in your budget presentation tonight. And we did present essentially this draft at your meeting on November 17 with a few changes. I would note that we did send out an updated resolution to set the mill levies tonight because we did receive our final valuations from Weld County and Adams County today. There was just a slight adjustment to the mill levy based on those final valuations. So our general fund does have, is a balanced budget. It does have more revenues than expenditures this year. It does have a projected fund balance of about $4.8 million. Our conservation trust fund is essentially fully appropriated this year based on our trail project that we will be starting in 2021. And both our water fund and wastewater fund do have projected positive cash fund balances in those funds. And in the budget message, which is attached to the budget, there's a detailed description of each of the CIP projects in both water and wastewater. So staff does recommend the adoption of Resolution 2020-17, which sets the expenditures and revenues for each fund and adopts the budget. We also recommend the board pass Resolution 2020-18, which sets the 2021 mill levies and authorizes staff to levy the amount based on these final certifications of both Weld and Adams County. I would also note that we did receive notice today from the Colorado Department of Local Affairs that our exemption for oil and gas valuation has been approved. So we will be able to capture that revenue as well this year. I'd also like to thank Denise Rademacher for her work on the budget this year. It's a lot more detail than we've had in the past and a lot more background behind each fund and each expenditure line item. So I think that'll be helpful for the board as we go forward. I'd just like to note 2 other projects that we have this year that currently in 2020, we're starting the data collection for the water and wastewater cost of service studies. So that report and that work and presentations to the board will start in 2021 as we look at rate options and rate alternatives for both water and wastewater. So that'll be a big project for us as we move forward in the first quarter of 2021. And you do have attached to the agenda item summary or budget message, as well as a full detailed budget and the 2 resolutions. So if you'd have any questions, staff can respond to those at this point.
Okay, I am checking for virtual hands. Trustee Ott?
I'm going to note on my copy, the word town is misspelled on the resolution.
Which number?
17.
2020-17.
Okay, we'll make that correction.
Okay, any other questions or comments? I know we've talked about this numerous times. I am seeing no further questions or comments, so I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 2020-17, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Lochbuie, which also is misspelled, Colorado, summarizing expenditures and revenues for each fund and adopting a budget for the Town of Lochbuie, Colorado, for the calendar year beginning on the first day of January 2021 and ending the last day of December 2021, and appropriating some money.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Strock.
Aye.
Trustee Kimmerly.
Aye.
Trustee Westcott.
Yes.
Mayor Lofgren.
Yes.
Trustee Jeffrey.
Yes.
Trustee Ott.
Yes.
Thank you.
And the budget is approved. Next item was 2020-18. Does anyone have any questions on that before I entertain a motion? That's just the mill levies consistent with the budget. I am seeing no virtual hands, so I will entertain a motion.
Maureen has something, it looks like.
To approve. Go ahead, Linda.
Maureen had something.
Did you open up the public hearing? Did I miss that?
Oh, do we need to do a public hearing on the budget?
Yeah, absolutely. This is our notice
Nope.
of public hearing night. Thank you. Sorry
That-
about that.
that was-
I didn't catch it.
Yep, that was my oversight. So I will do that at this point. It's 6:38 p.m. and I'll open the public hearing. If there are any members of the public interested in speaking on the budget, now will be your opportunity, and I'll ask Clerk Blackston to check with our attendees.
Okay. You think that's Wayne? Okay, I think so too. Okay, so the anonymous person, if you would like to speak, I can I'll unmute you, and then if you want to talk, you can. Otherwise, we can just mute you back. If it'll let me. Okay. No. Okay. And then Mike Morris, do you have anything? No? Okay, I'm gonna ask him.
Now, it's showing him
I
now.
don't have anything.
Okay. And then I think, Wayne, your last 4 digits are 0129 of your phone number, right?
That is correct.
Okay, so that's the other attendee.
Cool.
So then I think we're good. And we didn't, and before this had started, I didn't have any emails in regards to this, anything tonight for the agenda.
Okay, so hearing no input from the public, I will just ask for voice affirmation from the board. If everyone is still okay with approving the budget, all in favor say aye.
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 Anyone opposed say nay. Okay, the budget is officially approved. The next item is that 2020-18 concerning the mills. I will check for virtual hands if anyone has questions. Seeing none, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 2020-18, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Lochbuie, Colorado, setting the 2021 mill levy.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion from trustee Jeffrey and a second from trustee Kimmerly. Roll call, please.
Mayor Lofgren.
Yes.
Trustee Strock.
Aye.
Trustee Kimmerly.
Yes.
Trustee Ott.
Yes.
Trustee Jeffrey.
Yes.
Trustee Westcott.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, the next item on the agenda is the Next Trust Billing Services and terminating the lease agreement with Quadient. Quadient?
Yeah, and so we have, currently we print about 2,300 utility bills, and of course, the newsletter goes out with that. And so the staff is requesting to outsource the billing mailing with Next Trust to allow staff to use their time on more tasks. Jamie and Crystal and Denise and myself has been trying to figure out, how this would all work, and if this would be a good use of, staff time, and then to save a few dollars. We save a few dollars, but more importantly, we will save some staff time that they could use that time for additional tasks. There are times when that folder doesn't work great, and you can have a staff member standing out there for 6 to 8 hours just babysitting that folder. So so that's part of the reason of doing this as well, just so we can use the staff time more efficiently. The town has signed a 5-year lease for the folding machine, but we did not appropriate funds for the lease in 2021 budget, and we are not replacing the equipment with any other vendor. So I would recommend and ask the approval to switch to Next Trust for outsourcing our billing and our newsletters.
Okay, I'm checking for virtual hands or for questions or comments. And I am seeing none. I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the agreement between the town of Lochbuie and Next Trust Billing Services. It looked like an amount not to exceed $2,025 plus a $1,320 security deposit.
Could I also ask that, due to the lease that we have, if I could also ask that the proportion in regards to, we wouldn't be appropriating funds for the 2021 budget for the lease, and that we would not replacing that equipment with any other vendor or equipment at all. I would appreciate that. We just had to have that to terminate that lease.
So do we have to do a separate motion to terminate the lease?
No, I think you can just add that into your motion.
Okay, let's amend my motion as what Linda added.
Is that it? That's a so moved. Okay. I have a motion from trustee Ott and a second from trustee Jeffrey, I believe that was. Roll call, please.
Okay, thank you. Mayor Lofgren.
Yes.
Trustee Westcott.
Yes.
Trustee Ott.
Yes.
Trustee Jeffrey.
Yes.
Trustee Kimmerly.
Yes.
Trustee Strock.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is number 7, the ceremonies, the recognition of outgoing and the swearing in of the new members. Clerk Blackston, is this you or Mr. Stamey?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to just make a few comments to the outgoing board members. And I'd like to recognize that Mayor Lofgren and Trustee Strock, you've worked tirelessly during your terms in office, and you've actually donated thousands of hours to town matters. So I thank you for your dedication and for your thoughtful commitment to the town. It's been an honor to work for both of you. And I think one important part of the board is the manner and decorum in which this board is operated. Under your leadership, that has been exemplary. It's been so refreshing to see a board work together without the unreasonable disagreements among members and with staff. It has also been rewarding to work with a board who works to set goals, policies, project priorities, and does not micromanage staff implementation. Over the last 8.5 years, there have been a significant number of financial and capital improvement projects that have been implemented for the benefit of town residents. And just a quick summary of some of these. I think one of the biggest goals that was achieved was the financial stability and reserves in all funds for the town. Other capital projects of importance include the County Road 37 streetscape, the new town hall, expansion projects to both our water plant and wastewater treatment plant, installation of the 20-inch water line to Silver Peaks, as well as the Silver Peaks booster station upgrade. And then the big project we've been for the last 2 years was our County Road 2 widening and the roundabout projects. And we will have a couple of additional big capital improvement projects coming up, including the signalization project for the ramps at I-76 and the County Road 2 interchange. And we have a grant for Loch Buoy Greenway Trail, which will start the design and construction of that project. And that'll extend from County Road 37 west to over to the Berkshire area. I think implementation of those major CIP projects has approached approximately $20 million over the last 8.5 years. So your efforts and commitment have been very appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. And I will allow Trustee Strock to say any parting words he wants to say, and then I'll do my piece before we turn it over to Linda for the swearing in.
Well, I don't really have much to say at this time. I was glad to be here for those 8.5 years. Staff's been tremendous, and I think the town's gone a long way. Only advice I would give everybody is to just keep asking questions. And thank you.
Okay, and then I just wanted to take a quick minute to say thank you to everyone. I've lived in this town. Larry and I moved into town about a week apart from each other in the summer of 2010. So we've been here about 10.5 years, and for 8.5 of those years, we've served together on this board. So I wanted to first start with a huge thank you to Larry. We haven't always agreed on everything, but it has been a genuine pleasure being your neighbor. It's been a genuine pleasure serving with you on this board and hearing the thoughts that you put forward. I can't imagine having spent 8.5 years serving with anyone else. I also want to say a huge thank you to staff. Serving on this board, serving with all of you, seeing the hard work you guys put in to make sure that this town gets to where it needs to be has been truly an honor and a privilege. I see nothing but great things for this town going into the future under the leadership that it has and that it will have in the future. And in the end, I just want to say, like I said, it's a huge thank you to the citizens of this town for giving me the privilege of serving on this board for 8.5 years and for 2 years as mayor. I leave here knowing that I've made a ton of great acquaintances. I've made a ton of great friends. Some of the people that are my closest adult friends are people I've met through this board. That's really speaks to what Steve was talking about, which is the collegiality that we were able to build on this board, even when we disagreed strongly. And with that, I will turn it over to Linda.
Okay, I think Dave had a question, maybe. I don't know if he wants to go now or.
I'd like to make a comment if I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
Again, I wanted to echo Steve's comments. Thank you to Mayor Lofgren and Trustee Strock. And I also want to give a shout out to Trustee Darty, Trustee Morris, who had to leave because they left the town, but they also want to thank them for their service and dedication to the town over their time on the board.
Thank you. And now I think it is on to you, Linda, to
Okay.
over to the new peeps.
Okay, well, first I'd like to say thanks to Trustee Strock and Mayor Lofgren and Mike Morris as well, just since he's on here and it didn't have a chance earlier. But I wanted to, we will have, I wish we could have, kind of fun, I don't know if you guys can see this, but we got plaques for Trustee Strock, Mike Morris, and Mayor Lofgren. So we just want you all to know that we really appreciated all of your hard work and commitment to the town and all the wonderful things that are happening. So we'll get these to you somehow. But thank you again. And then I'm going to do the oath, and if okay, I'm going to start with Mayor Mahoney. We'll do his first, and then we'll do the new trust. Is that where we're at, or you want to see if any other trustees have any other comments, Mayor Lofgren, before I move on to the oath of offices?
I think you can do the oaths.
Okay. Okay, so we'll start with Mayor. Sorry, I'm going to try to make this work. And Mayor Mahoney. So if you'll raise your right hand and then repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Michael Mahoney,
Do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the laws of the State of Colorado and the town of Loch Buoy,
and the laws of the State of Colorado and the town of Loch Buoy,
and will faithfully perform the duties of
and will faithfully perform the duties of
the office of mayor,
the office of mayor,
upon which I'm about to enter,
upon which I'm about to enter,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, then we'll do the trustees, and I think just because there's a few of you, if you all will repeat after me, when I get to the I state your name, just state your name, and then we'll go through the whole process I just did with Mayor Mahoney. Are we ready? So we have Jacqueline, May, okay. I state your name.
Hi, James Kimmerly.
Okay, and May and Jacqueline, if you would unmute yourselves. Okay. Do swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
Do swear that I will support the Constitution
Constitution of the United States
and the laws of the State of Colorado and the town of Loch Buoy,
and the state
and the laws of the State of Colorado and the town of Loch Buoy,
and will faithfully perform the duties of
and will
and will faithfully perform the duties of
the office of trustee,
office of
the
trustee,
upon which I'm about to enter,
on which I'm about to enter,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Okay, great. Thank you and congratulations. And then if you guys could stop in maybe tomorrow, if not for sure, at least by Monday, so we can get these oath of offices signed, and then I have a few things to pass out to you. So, and I know that the Fair Campaign Practices Act stuff is due tomorrow as well, so if you haven't turned that in, then we can do this all at the same time. So if you're able to do that, that would be great. But again, thank you and welcome to the board. And that's all I got.
Okay.
I was just going to say, your ship, Mike.
Yeah, I know. Thanks. Well, first I want to say, Jacob, it was great working with you guys for the past, since 2012 when I became mayor. You guys, we worked well together. That's all I can say. And Larry Strock, Jacob, Dave Ott, Mike, all of us, we worked very well together, and I appreciated working with you guys. And honestly, you said it best, Jacob. We didn't all agree on everything all the time, but we found a way to make it to our goal, whether we agreed completely or not. So I appreciate you guys, and I truly am sad to see you guys go. Although, I guess, Jacob, you're moving on to bigger and better things, and and you're going to hang out here with us, right? You're going to come in and give me a hard time. I know that's happening, and I look forward to it. All right. The other part of this was we move forward. This here system is a whole new system to me, so there's a learning curve for me on this on this communication. So when we're doing the I won't recognize voices. I won't know who's speaking out or whose name is or who is who. So this is going to be loads of fun. So just bear with me, and let's move forward. Anything else? No. Now, other question on this. On this here, I know Jacob was doing the looking for virtual hands, so that I've never played with, so I'm going to have to figure that out yet. And I think I have it figured out and played with it a little bit, but let's move forward. We're now going to move into audience business. Did we have anything?
We did not have anything. I can check if you would like me to check with the attendees again. I mean, one of those attendees is Wayne, and I can see if Mike has anything to say at this time, but I didn't get any emails from anybody.
Okay. Now let's see if Mike has
Okay.
anything to say.
Mike, I think we have to take a roll call with the new board first.
Oh,
This is true. Yeah.
okay, let's do that first. Mike, hold off for just 1 second. We'll do a roll call of this new board, and then we can see if you would like to speak. Okay, are we ready?
Go for it.
Okay, Mayor Mahoney.
Here.
I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Trustee Antonopoulos.
Yes, here.
Trustee Jeffrey.
Yes.
Trustee Kimberly. Trustee Kimberly. Is he working? Okay, let's try. I'll go. Trustee Ott.
Here,
Trustee Westcott.
Here.
Trustee White.
Here.
And Trustee Kimberly, can you hear me?
I certainly can.
Okay, so are you here?
I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's it. And then I'll check with Mike if we move on.
Okay.
Mike, did you have anything to say?
Or bring up, but thank you to everyone and good luck. God bless moving forward. Take care.
Take care, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. We'll move on to the next item, action item 10. The Mayor Pro Tem appointment. Do I have anyone want to throw anyone under the bus?
well, I'm going to renominate myself.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
I could just, I didn't raise my hand, so I'm sorry, but I think it might be nice to have an explanation of what that position is.
Well, essentially, the Mayor Pro Tem acts in my stead if I'm not here or in other capacities, if I can't fulfill those. If I'm not here and there's a meeting, he'll hold the meeting, and he'll also be I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Ann, but he'll also be a signer on the accounts and things like that. So if I'm not here to be able to do that, he can also do that.
That's correct.
So, okay.
Back up, Mayor.
That's essentially what the Mayor Pro Tem job is if I'm not here, he takes charge or he steps into my position.
Can you say substitute teacher? Substitute mayor?
Yeah. So were there any other nominations?
That doesn't sound good.
No, if we have no other nominations, would someone like to make a motion? Oh, sorry.
I'm going to nominate Dave Ott as Mayor Pro Tem.
I'll second.
Okay, I got a motion from Trustee Antonopoulos, I believe, and I'm not sure who the second was.
Trustee Westcott.
Okay, Trustee Westcott. All right, thank you.
Sure.
Like I said, I don't know your voices yet, so we're going to be playing this game for the rest of the evening, so I'll try and keep it speedy. All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ah,
And opposed? I don't hear anyone opposing. So I guess welcome back, Trustee Ott. You get to play that game again. I love it.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Mayor and board members.
All right, we'll move on to the next thing. Let's get some business done. Resolution 2020-19. So who wants to speak on this?
So Mayor, this is at the first of the year, the board does appoint its officers,
Yep.
including the town administrator, town attorney, municipal judge, town clerk, and town treasurer.
Okay. All right. Any questions or comments from the board? I'll look for virtual hands. All right, and I don't see any. And yell at me if I missed you. Okay, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I
Approve resolution 2020-19, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Lockwood, Colorado, appointing the officers as stated in the paper.
All right. I have a motion, and I'm assuming, Ms. Jeffrey, you were going in there, so you want to be the second?
That's fine, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Trustee Ott, motion, and Trustee Jeffrey the second. Roll call, please.
Trustee White,
Aye.
Mayor Mahoney,
Yes.
Trustee Jeffrey,
Yes.
Trustee Antonopoulos,
Yes.
Trustee Kimmerly,
Yes.
Trustee Westcott. Trustee Westcott.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Ott.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. And motion carries. All right, the next item is Resolution 2020-20.
Okay, this is a resolution that we would need to do for Chase Bank. Although I have David, I'm sorry, I just thought out loud. To change, to remove Jacob and then include Mayor Mahoney on there, and then leave Dave Ott, and then as the Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay.
And then also just to clean up our safe deposit box. Currently, Monica Mendoza is still on that safe deposit box account, so just to remove her, and then we'll add me when we can actually get to banks, because some of those banks are still closed in the lobby, so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Any questions or comments from board? I'll look for virtual hands. And not seeing any. And I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve resolution number 2020-20, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Lockwood, Colorado, approving authorized signatures for bank accounts.
Second.
Okay. Trustee Ott for a motion, and I believe Mr. Kummerly for a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Westcott.
Yes.
Trustee Ott.
Yes.
Trustee Kimmerly.
Yes.
Trustee Antonopoulos.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Trustee Jeffrey.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Thank you.
And 7-0, motion carries. And we will move on to the next item, the appointments. Lockwood Municipal Sewer Board.
Oh, Mayor, I can just do a brief description of the appointments and what these boards do. So for the Lockwood Municipal Sewer Board, that's a combined board of Lock Bowie elected officials and City of Brighton elected officials. Lock Bowie has 3 members that are appointed. City of Brighton has 2 city council members that are appointed. There's 1 at-large member, which is a representative of the South Beebe Draw Metro District. And this board was set up by agreement several years ago as part of a lawsuit settlement between the City of Brighton and the town of Lock Bowie. Also, this City of Brighton sewer flows, they flow into the Lock Bowie wastewater plant, so we do treat a good portion of their wastewater on their eastern part of the City of Brighton. So this board typically meets once a quarter. Last year we did not meet because of some, I think, turnover in City of Brighton staff, turnover in their City of Brighton council, and the COVID kind of thing. So we do need to schedule a meeting here in this first quarter. So that's kind of the role of that. It'd be a quarterly meeting and to discuss items related to our wastewater treatment services. The second board is Dr. Cog, and there's 1 town board member appointed as well as 1 alternate. And that board meets typically for 1 regular meeting and 1 study session per month. I think they have been doing some of their meetings by Zoom or by remotely, and their physical location is in Denver. So at some point, assuming that meetings are again in person, there would be a requirement to do meetings held in Denver. And the CML Policy Committee meeting. Dave Ott has served on this before, as well as Trustee Morris. And I think they meet typically, Dave, you can chime in, but I think it's once a month. And we appoint one board member and one alternate to serve on that board. And it's a policy committee, so they review and take positions on a lot of state legislation that's coming down the pike. And our board representative discusses those with our full board and can get direction from our board if chosen. So that's kind of the role of those committees. And on the sewer board meeting, there are 3 regular members, but I would recommend that we also appoint 1 or 2 alternates for that board as well.
Yep. Thank you, Steve. All right. Any questions about the first one, about the municipal board, sewer board? Look for virtual hands. Anyone have any questions or comments? No. And not seeing any. Okay. Anyone want to make any
If I could just make one additional comment on the sewer board. Typically, it's our mayor is one of the 3 that has served on that board. Yeah. And that's typical also of the city of Brighton. Their mayor is one of their appointees.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was going to take a leap into the fire and say, I nominate myself. I've served on it before, so I definitely want to be there again. Anyone else?
We need an alternate.
Well, are you already on the sewer board, Dave? Were you already on it, or?
No, I was going to go for the CML policy committee, which meets a bunch of time.
All right. Anyone else want to nominate themselves or nominate someone else for the sewer board?
I'm just going to ask a really quick question. The DRCOG meetings, are those normally held during working hours, or are they in Denver?
They're typically in the evening.
Okay.
I think I'm happy to serve on in one of these positions. I'm not going to volunteer for more, but I'm not quite sure what other people maybe are already doing or what other people are interested in. So sounds like Trustee Ott wants to do the CML policy committee, and that's fine. Is there someone who's interested in? DRCOG is just one person, correct?
Correct. And I would point out that through DRCOG, we've only been a member of that for a little over 1 year. But last year we received about $2 million in grants for the trail project and the I-76 signalization project. So it's really important that we participate in that board.
Yeah.
DRCOG acts as the funnel for a lot of regional money, not only for transportation, it goes to where our aging money comes for our AAA, for our area agency and aging. There's a lot of things that get funneled regionally through DRCOG. I've worked with them professionally before. I would definitely be interested in serving or being an alternate to that group, just because of like I said, my familiarity with them and working with them in the past.
So are you throwing your name into the fire to be the primary for DRCOG?
Sure, what the hey.
I would be happy to be the alternate for DRCOG.
Okay, I'm sorry. Was that you, Trustee Westcott?
It's me,
Jamie. Trustee Jeffrey.
Okay.
Jeffrey.
Okay, Trustee Jeffrey. All right. So let's jump to the DRCOG one. So we got
Unless
Trustee,
you wanted to, May.
Trustee Kimberly and Trustee Jeffrey as the primary and the alternate for DRCOG. All in favor? Yeah.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. Well, you guys are now our official correspondents for them. Back to the Lochbuie Sewer Board. We only meet once a quarter, and usually that is on a Tuesday as well, on one of our off Tuesdays. Well, I shouldn't even say that. I've seen it go different ways, but it still is a Tuesday. So anyone else willing to be on the board? We need 3, and I've already thrown my name into the...
I'll be on the sewer board.
All right.
nominate myself.
Okay. Trustee White, Trustee Antonopoulos,
And Westcott. You can-
and Westcott? Okay. Then we're just gonna have to throw you guys in the fire and see who wants to be primaries and alternate, because we're gonna have 4 people on the
Three
board.
regular meetings and one alternate.
Yep. So, anyone willing to be the alternate? No?
I'll do it.
Okay. All right. This is so much fun on the screen.
It's hard.
So I didn't see, I heard voices. I didn't know who was saying what. Who's going to be our alternate?
I think Trustee Antonopoulos, if I'm not mistaken, or White, Jacqueline, or Trustee White.
Okay. Okay, you guys rule it out. Who wants to be the primary?
You could do nose.
All right. Okay, so we'll go with Trustee Antonopoulos, Trustee Jeffrey as primaries, and Trustee White as a secondary. Is that what I'm getting? Or vice versa, Trustee Antonopoulos the secondary.
Trustee Westcott rather than Trustee Jeffrey, correct?
Or Westcott, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's okay.
Yeah, sorry.
It's hard.
Names here. So, all right, Westcott, Antonopoulos, and White, and myself.
Okay.
Okay. All in favor? Say aye. Or
Aye.
all opposed? Okay. That was,
Mayor, could I confirm who ended up deciding who would be the alternate? Was it Antonopoulos, right? Or no, she was a primary. It was Trustee White. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to confirm I had that. Okay, thank you.
yeah, so it's Trustee Westcott, Trustee Antonopoulos as primary, Trustee White as a secondary.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah, that could not have been more sloppily done. Sloppily. All right, CML Policy Committee, so that we already had Dave Ott. Who wants to?
Yeah, let me say, the CML, right now, we are meeting every Monday virtually because the legislature's in session. Normally, we only meet when the legislature is in session, which starts in the spring. But they have one of the things, if you are the representative, you will have to spend several days downtown Denver with the legislators in meetings. So that's why I volunteered myself, because I'm retired, so I can always go down and do that. But that is, during the legislative session, you're quite active. After that, it's maybe once every 2 months you have to meeting, and that's it.
Okay. And Steve, did we need a secondary for Dr.
Yes,
Cobb?
we should
Okay.
appoint an alternate.
Yep. Anyone else willing to jump into Dr. Cog as an alternate?
I will say this, it is a learning experience. If you want to, you can always come along, you just can't vote, but it is a learning experience to see what goes on, the machinations that go on down in Denver.
You're looking for an alternate for the CML Policy Committee, just to be clear.
Correct.
Already did Dr. Cog. Okay, you're saying Dr.
Yeah. Yeah, CML. Yes, correct. Anyone?
I'm willing to do that.
Okay. Yeah, it's not like you'll have to actually do something because Dave loves to do it, so. All right, so Trustee Westcott is our CML Policy Committee secondary. So all in favor? Say aye.
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 Opposed? And all right, you are secondary for the CML Policy Committee. All right, approval of the water lease agreement. This already sounds fun. Mr. Jeffers.
Welcome back. Jump right into some water leases.
Yeah, that made me really happy. The first thing I thought was, wait a minute, Jacob should be doing this before he leaves.
We did try, and we've been working on these leases for quite a while and had some back and forth. So that we're here to talk about two tonight. The first one is what we call the 5K lease from South Adams County Water and Sanitation District. And Chris Sanchez is in the meeting too. And Chris was very helpful in negotiating these agreements and helping us figure out how much water the town needed. So if we need more background, Chris is available. But basically, the town normally runs through a water year that goes from November through October. And each year we have to do forecasting for how much water the town can use under its plan for augmentation. The town pumps wells there in Loch Buoy. That causes depletions to the river, and you have to make up those depletions so that you don't cause injury. And the town has 3 augmentation plans it works under. And so normally Chris's office at BBA, they'll do a forecast of how much water the town has left available for the upcoming year and how much water it needs to pump either from its Bell Mountain supply down by Castle Rock and how much water it uses from an existing contract with Frico, and also if it has some water available in storage in United Reservoir. The town has a junior storage right there. In most years, when we get to October, and BBA does the forecasting, there's usually some water left over that can get you through a couple months, and BBA sets forth a plan for how you use the other water rights available. This year was extremely dry, extremely hot, and Loch Buoy, like a lot of other Front Range towns and municipalities, burned through its water supply a lot faster than normal. And I don't know if it was 20% more or higher than that, Chris, but it was quite a bit higher than normal. And so when you got close to the end of the year, it was obvious that you were going to run very low of water. And Chris has been dealing with issues over on the South Platte River where you have intakes. There's been problems with the intake pumps at certain times. There's been problems over at Bar Lake at times. And so we've been kind of scrambling to get you additional water to get you through the next couple of months. And it's finally come together in 2 leases. So the first one here, the lease of what we call 5K water it's water that's owned by Denver Water. It's reusable effluent on the South Platte River, south of Brighton. And South Adams County has an agreement to use some of that water. And it has the ability to lease that to other municipalities as long as they're within the metro area. And the last time you leased that water from them was 2013. You leased 160 acre feet that year. The price was almost identical. It was $1 cheaper that year. So this year it's, Chris has told us that the town needs 200 acre feet to help get through this shortage and figure out which of your additional supplies you should use later in the spring and summer, and to give you a chance to maybe pick up some additional free river water at the reservoir. The price is $340 an acre foot, and the total price is $68,000. As I said, that's pretty much the same price as 7 years ago, and it's a very competitive price. It's a good price for leasing water. That water, if you sign this agreement, if you approve this agreement tonight, what we would do is we have to go to water court in the town's augmentation plan and file a notice of your intention to use a temporary water supply. And then we have to wait 30 days before we can use it. But in the meantime, we'd be putting it into storage and have it available for that use. You'd have to make that payment when the agreement's signed by both parties. You may want to send the check when you send the signed agreement over to South Adams, but we can figure out how to do that. We want to get this approved as soon as possible because we have to wait that 30 days before we can use it. So I would request that the town board approve this lease with South Adams tonight and authorize the mayor to sign it. Hopefully you could sign that tomorrow. Yeah. And then email Chris and I a copy of that so I can file it with the court, even though South Adams hasn't signed it yet. I'd like to start that clock if I can. So that's our recommendation. If you have any questions about the water supply, Chris and I are both available to answer those questions.
Okay. If we have any questions, I'm looking for virtual hands. And seeing none. I have nothing, so I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the water lease agreement, 5K water between South Adams Water and Sanitation District, a quasi-municipal corporation and political subdivision of the state of Colorado, acting by and through its South Adams Water and Sanitation District Activity Enterprise, South Adams, in parentheses closed, and Town of Loch Buoy, a municipal corporation and political subdivision of the state of Colorado, acting by and through its Water Activity Enterprise, Loch Buoy, parentheses closed. South Adams and Loch Buoy may sometimes be referred to individually as the party or collectively as the party.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Further discussion, please?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sure.
Can you tell me, Trustee Ott, where you got that language? Because I'm not finding it.
Just a second, let me get it.
Is it, okay, I got it. Page 181 of our packet.
Yeah, it's on page 170, or hang on a minute. 181, I believe it.
Yep, I found it. Thank you so much.
Anyone else?
And the second motion, I believe, is on 191.
Okay.
This is Chris Sanchez, and I'll just chime in as we're in the discussion phase here, and just let the board know that because of the higher water usage and the quantity of water that we still have in our augmentation reservoirs, we'll still be taking other actions to get the augmentation storage further filled as we move into the later winter and spring months. So it's possible that we'll be coming back to you with yet another lease, including a lease with the town of Castle Rock, which is already in the works. And it's possible that we'll be moving to pump the Bell Mountain wells, which are down near Castle Rock, to try to move water into our storage reservoirs as well. So I just want to clarify that this is one step of a process of getting the augmentation water that we need into our storage reservoir and water queued up for availability and storage.
Yeah, Mr. Sanchez, what exactly? I think I missed. What exactly was our shortfall for this year?
Our water usage was probably on the order of 15 to 20% higher than we had projected, and our projection provided for a higher usage than what had occurred in the past. So probably on the order of 25% higher than previous years. Now, I guess we could talk about how we define a shortfall, but bottom line, water usage was higher than we had anticipated and higher than it's been in the past. So we've been scrambling a bit to keep up with that. And part of what we may recommend to you in the future is some demand management, water restrictions, and that sort of thing to help manage some of these water supplies. And we will obviously be proactive in communicating that to you if that's an action that we recommend.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
for the benefit of new trustees, I think sometimes you hear things like pumping water from Castle Rock. That sounds crazy. And I do think that we need to give you some training on how sort of the town does operate its water utility and where we get water. And Mr. Sanchez and Mr. Jeffers do plan to come back to you early February. Is that what I understand? And are going to give you a little bit of background on just really what the town's portfolio of water rights looks like and how that's dealt with, because you will have to make a lot of decisions on that as you move forward during your tenure here on the board. So anyway, I just wanted to put you at ease that we're not completely gonna just let you figure it out as we go. So
Yeah, it's definitely necessary for a Loch Buoy Water 101. There's a lot to it. All right, anyone else have any questions or comments?
Dave Ott has his hand up.
I would just make one comment, Mayor, that we do have water rights lease in our budget.
Okay. Was there someone else?
I had a comment.
Sure, go ahead.
For the new board members, if, assuming we are released from purgatory this next summer, there's a CML conference. I think this year it's going to be held in Beaver Creek. And I would strongly recommend the new board members attend that conference and take several classes on water rights.
Yes.
That way, Mr. Jeffers and Mr. Sanchez are speaking to you, you will not look like a deer in headlights, like I did when this first started.
Yeah, my favorite one always was when Mr. Jeffers or Mr. Sanchez made the statement, free water, catching free water. They're like, oh, people are really think it's free water, but it has a whole other connotation. Okay, anyone else have any other statements or questions? If not, then we'll move on to,
Trustee Westcott has her hand, sorry.
I didn't see that. There she is. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I think really quickly, Mr. Stamey, if you could you just made the comment that we're budgeted for it. So there's money in the budget to lease the water, but that's going to be a net. It's going to be a net zero, right? Because that cost is going to get passed on to people who are using all of that extra water. I guess what I want to understand is sort of like how does that actually impact the town, and how does it impact citizens financially?
And Steve, would you like me to jump in on this one?
Yeah, why don't you go? I was going to talk about the cost of pumping versus the cost of leasing.
Well, right. So there are costs that we incur in terms of delivering augmentation water. And I will back up and clarify when I use the term augmentation water, what I mean is delivering water to the stream system to replace the depletions that we caused from the pumping of our wells. So we use water in the wells, and that creates an obligation that needs to be delivered to the BB Draw aquifer to keep other water rights whole. So there's a couple ways we can do that. One is by leasing water as we're doing here today. Another is by pumping some deep well water that we own out near Castle Rock, which we refer to as the Bell Mountain wells. And those wells are pretty expensive to operate. The cost impact by the time we pay the electrical charges and the administrative process and my time to kind of shepherd and deliver that water down to our storage reservoirs is similar to what we're paying in the lease water rates. So those are all costs that are incurred as part of delivering the augmentation supply. We, for planning purposes, assume that we're always going to be paying for that water, and that's a direct cost to the town. Now, for the last probably four out of the last 5 years, give or take, we have benefited from what the mayor had referred to as free river water. We have certain water rights on the South Platte River that allow us to divert water and put it into our storage and use it for augmentation purposes. And there is no cost associated with us doing that. So in an ideal world, we would have and take advantage of this free river water that we can divert and use without a cost. And I mentioned that because to answer your question about the cost impact, the more that we can benefit from that free river water, the better. And it obviously saves the town if we're able to maximize that water. But part of what we're looking at is just how dry the year has been over the last summer and fall. And because things have been so dry, we're not anticipating much of an opportunity to pick up free river water. But the quantities of lease water that we're pursuing here still leave some space in the storage reservoir so that if free river water is available, we can still move some of that water into our reservoirs at a zero cost basis. So you're right, this is water that fuels the water system, which we are compensated for through tap fees. but we strive to do it in a way that's as efficient and as economical as possible. A year like this, we're anticipating that we're probably having to pay for most of our augmentation water, which is going to be more expensive than what has been incurred over the last few years.
Okay.
So just to follow up on our budget, so we do anticipate in our budget for planning purposes of water lease. In 2020, we had 110,000 budgeted. In 2021, it's 120,000. And also point out that for 21, we do have a CIP project of a deep water well to actually drill it on town property.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Trustee Westcott?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. And seeing no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion. Or take a vote. I'm sorry, we already had the motion. I got lost in it. Let's have a vote. Roll call, please.
Trustee Westcott.
Yes.
Trustee Ott.
Yes.
Trustee Kimberly.
Yes.
Trustee Antonopoulos.
Yes.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Jeffrey.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Thank you.
And motion carries unanimous. All right, next item is approval of the 2021 water rights lease. Mr. Jeffers, once again.
Thank you. So this lease is with the Farmers Reservoir and Irrigation Company, or FRICO. It's a 50-acre-foot lease. This is water that is readily available right in town. They have a recharge project with their irrigation system. It results in accretions to the BBC canal that goes right through town. And so this is probably the most efficient water you can ever lease. We also do not need to go to court to add it to any augmentation plans. You already have a perpetual right to 75 acre feet of this water, and you're already in the FRICO plan, and you can add this water or lease more water at any time and just operate under that plan. So we don't have a timing problem, and we don't have any additional cost, and we don't have any risk going to court. This water is going to be used immediately. In essence, it'd be used in December, January, and February. The water that you're leasing from South Adams would be a little bit later in the season and take you through the spring a little bit while you explore those other options of pumping your wells or getting free river water or getting additional leases. This water is really critical because you need water now, and we can get it now from FRICO through this lease. We were going back and forth with them over some numbers, and it kind of delayed getting the agreements signed. But I think that Chris has been able to work with them, and we can typically work pretty well with them on this type of water. So we can start using it immediately. As we told them we were coming to the town board for this evening, their manager signed the contract and sent it over so that we would have it ready to go. This water is more expensive. It's $480 an acre foot, but again, it's more reliable. It's immediately available. There's no transit losses whatsoever. The town has leased this water in addition to its perpetual contract for 75 acre feet. You've leased this water pretty much 2002 through 2009. I think the last lease was probably 2013. And so it's something that Chris and I really view highly for the town, and it's possible that you may get some additional water through contracts in the future, either permanent contracts for this water or dedications for this water. But I think this is a really important lease despite that slightly higher price. And we recommend that you approve this lease and authorize the mayor to sign the lease as soon as possible and allow us to start taking this water immediately. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments for Mr. Jeffers on this topic? And seeing no hands, all right, do we have a motion?
I move to approve the 2021 water rights lease agreement between the town of Lochbuie by and through its water activity enterprise, parentheses, lessee, parentheses, closed, and Farmers Reservoir and Irrigation Company, Frico, closed.
All right, have a motion, have a second?
A second.
Second.
Okay. Ms. Blackstone, you can take your choice of whoever.
Okay, I think I heard Westcott, so we'll go with that, but we can, however it works. Okay, trustee Westcott,
Yes.
trustee White,
Yes.
trustee Antonopoulos,
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney,
Yes.
trustee Kimberly,
Yes.
trustee Jeffrey,
Yes.
trustee Ott.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
And on a side note, I would like to thank Mr. Jeffers and Mr. Sanchez for not going into consumptive water versus augmentation water
Stop.
versus transit losses and really losing everybody.
Don't even do that to us, Dave. Let's move on to the next item, shall we?
Be sure to attend the water law classes they're presenting.
Yes. All right. That passed, so let's move on to the next item, which is the town-issued electronic equipment policy. Ms. Blackstone.
Okay, so we have purchased iPads for the board. Our Timberland IT are working to get those all set up and squared away. So myself and Town Attorney Duran were kind of working on this just to set some parameters and then just give everybody, we'll check out those iPads, and the same thing for employees, any town equipment we have, which would include our new home office remote setup that we got, kind of just. And then we'll have them ready to go. I'm hoping by the December 15th meeting. But basically, this is just, letting everybody know what we can and can't do on those. And then, of course, anything, emails and those kind of things, all the little stuff, we have a different one, will be subject to Cora, what you can use them for, what maybe is prohibited. And then I guess if anybody has any questions, or if Ms. Duran would like to further give more information.
No, I think that that's a good synopsis. It's just a policy that really sets the parameters by which the town loans you equipment for you to use for town business, essentially. And you acknowledge through signing a contract that you've received it. So, you can't engage in getting internet searches that are inappropriate, that kind of thing. It's supposed to be all for just pure town business.
Yes, and all our, Mrs. Blackstone, the email will be all set up for everyone, correct?
That is correct. And when I'm hoping I will have the instructions from Timberland just for the ones who have not ever accessed our emails yet. And so those will be, I'll get everybody's passwords and that stuff given to you tomorrow with the packet. So yes, everybody's set up. It was ready to go today.
Okay. And that's just one of those 101s I like to remind people of. That's why I like using my own personal email for the government stuff, because that makes mine accessible to, become part of Cora. So, yeah, let's get that all back into play. Was there anything else? Anyone had any questions or comments on that? Okay. Trustee-
Would use of the town-owned iPads be required? Basically, I don't want another iPad.
It's not required. You may want it just for the separation to have your email on there, but if you wanted to use your own, and I can tell you, IT is trying to figure out which software we're going to go with, like a Dropbox or something. That's how we will go forward and upload your board packet. Again, I would recommend you do at least the email on there, and then if you wanted to just have the one iPad although you'll need it for your Dropbox to download stuff, or you can go to the web and pull up the board packet, so.
So Trustee Antonopoulos, I get that can be a pain in the butt, but here's the bottom line on that. The Colorado Open Records Act, if we were to get an open records request for, let's just say example, any and all correspondence between the trustees relating to an ordinance to limit chickens in town, right? I'm just making it up. We have to look to you and say, we need to look at your computer and make sure that we've captured all of that, right? And that we've got all those documents. And you don't want us looking at your personal computers. And so
No, that actually makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And yeah, that makes sense.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you for that information. So we'll move on to the next item, which is the coronavirus relief fund. Mr. Stamey.
Hey, just a quick summary, Mayor. So Weld County has called for a final accounting of what local communities' expenditures have been effective November 30th. They gave us through today to do that report. So they are essentially closing this program. Just an update, we do have about 110 household applications that have been approved, and funding will be distributed to those qualified applicants, which is about $22,000 for that part of the program. And we will have about $30,000 that has been not spent so far. But Weld County has called for this essentially so they can distribute any remaining funds through their social services as well as their economic relief fund.
Okay. All right. Anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Stamey on this? Don't see any hands. Did I miss anybody? No? Okay, we'll move on. Thank you, Mr. Stamey.
Mayor Mahoney?
Yes.
Mayor, both Trustee Westcott and I raised our hands.
Oh, I didn't see. Okay, go ahead.
If you're looking on your screen, down at the bottom when you hover, you'll see participants in 18. If you click on that, it'll open a sidebar where you can see everybody's names, and you'll get a really quick visual of if we have our hands up or not.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that.
Does that help?
Yes, it does, most definitely.
Unfortunately, I've been Zoom a lot. I just wanted to,
Well, thank you.
yes, if I may continue.
Yes.
I just wanted to thank Mr. Stamey and Ms. Rademacher for getting us the data that we asked for at the last meeting so quickly. I feel better knowing that the money's at least going to stay in Weld County and be able to help Weld County residents. And I appreciate that you all worked very hard to expend as much of it as possible. Thank you very much.
All right, Trustee Westcott?
I echo what Trustee Jeffrey said. I really did appreciate, I think you got slammed after that last meeting right before Thanksgiving with people with suggestions. And so I appreciate that you took time out, especially, people were coming in when they were supposed to be off and stuff. And that was really amazing. Great work. Can I just ask, so the numbers that you were saying, how many more from the last meeting of those COVID relief applications have you received? So all of them are
I think it's approximately 50, a little over 50 we received since the last meeting.
okay. And so
I'm in the process right of entering those, and it is around 60 additional ones. So I did want to say thank you to all the trustees who did come by and pick up applications. It did seem to make a difference in this last couple of weeks. And we also sent the information to the school district, and they put a blast out to all of the students at the school district. So I think between those two things, I think that's what drove the last couple of weeks of getting about 60 more applications in.
okay, thank you.
All right, and anyone else? Oh, well, thank you very much. And yeah, I want to echo all those sentiments. I know there's been a lot of people that have needed the assistance, and it's been a boon for sure. Okay. Oh, I don't know what's going on with mine. I'm flashing. All right, let's move on to the high service pump station. Mr. Ramey.
Good afternoon, Board and Mayor. Welcome to the fund for the next 4 years. I'm really looking forward to working on. I could see Trustee Westcott grimace when trying to explain water rights and how it all works, and it is quite complicated. And I'll just let you know that the budget does cover based on water rate. If somebody uses a lot of water, they get charged more. So that's how a lot of that's paid for. So the high service pump station is located at the water plant just west of the town hall. And what that does is as we treat water, put it into 2 storage tanks there by town hall, they provide pressure to the system. When it gets over to Silver Peak, then there's another booster station that bumps it more up because of the elevation differences. This one is a pump that was installed in 2005, which, you know, it's 15 years old, and that's pretty good use out of a water pump. And so we have a plan to start replacing them over the next 4 years, and this is the first one. We had budgeted $20,000. The pump quote came in at a little higher than we had anticipated. So everything included in having us install it comes up to $21,570.63. While that's a little over the $20,000 that we had budgeted, we've saved $2,500 or $7,500 when we clean the storage tanks that provide the storage for the booster pump. So, but one of the reasons why it came up a little high was when those were installed, the only thing that those pumped was strictly water. Well, now due to, in recent past, we had some lead violations, so we have to add a pH adjustment. Well, that pH adjustment impacts that impeller on that pump. So we had them give us a nickel, aluminum, bronze impeller. So it's 3 different types of metals that will allow that pump to last even that much longer. So the increased cost for that impeller is what made the budget go over $1,500. But that pump will last 3 times longer than the original ones. So if anybody has any questions, I can answer, but basically we're just replacing old equipment.
Okay. Anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Ramey? And I'm taking Ms. Jeffrey's advice, and I'm looking, and I don't see any hands up there. I like that. I like that little system. All right. And I have nothing other than to say thanks for keeping an eye on the whole water and sewer and all of that fun stuff that not many people want to do. So we'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the high service pump station booster pump replacement between the town of Lochbuie and Ramey Environmental Services in an amount not to exceed $21,575.
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee White.
Yes.
Trustee Kimberly.
Yes.
Trustee Westcott.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Trustee Antonopoulos.
Yes.
Trustee Jeffrey.
Yes.
Gosh, and I got everybody right.
I believe so.
Trustee Ott. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
There we go. Okay. That's 7 yeses, and the motion passes. We now move on to the wastewater treatment plant automated refrigerator. You guys need to keep your sodas cold out there?
What's that?
So you need to keep your sodas cold out there, Wayne?
No, this keeps sewage water cold so that it can be properly analyzed. We're required to collect samples of both what comes into the wastewater plant and what goes out of the wastewater plant to see that the plant is not overloaded on the influent and make sure that we can meet stream standards on the effluent. The samplers that are in there were purchased in, I want to say it was 1998, and we've replaced the compressors on the refrigerator probably 5 or 6 times. They're rusting out. They weren't really designed to be in the atmosphere that we're in. So this will replace both the influent and the effluent samplers so that we can take compliance samples to report to EPA. And these samplers are designed and constructed to where they can be in atmospheric conditions like a sewage plant, which, believe it or not, there are quite a few gases. So we had $40,500 budgeted in plant equipment, and these samplers were quoted from the factory at $14,410.70, including freight, as well as setup. So the vendor will actually come up and help us set them up and get them going. So it's basically, again, we're just replacing some outdated equipment with new equipment that's, well, for one thing, like the temperature, where we have to prove to the EPA that we maintain a certain temperature. These things actually record temperature 24/7, so we can be able to print the log off and show them that, yeah, we refrigerated our samplers properly.
Nice. Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments for Mr. Ramey? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on and entertain a motion. Anyone?
I move to approve the purchase and replacement of the wastewater treatment plant automated refrigerator.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Ott.
Aye.
Trustee Jeffrey.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney.
Yes.
Trustee Antonopoulos.
Yes.
Trustee Kimberly.
Yes.
Trustee Westcott.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And who did I miss? I'm sorry, I messed up my whole thing here.
What? Trustee White.
Thank you, sorry. I had a list and I messed it up. I apologize. Trustee White. Thank you.
All right. And motion carries. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Ramey. Keep up.
Thank you, Mayor. And I would extend an invitation to all new trustees. Whenever you'd like, just get a hold of me if you want to tour the facilities, if you want to make it as a group or one-on-one, and especially to Trustee Jeffrey, if any of the kids ever wanted to go through a tour and see where their water comes from, that's what we specialize.
Yeah, and I do advise all of our board members to definitely take a tour of the sewer and the water treatment plants. It's very enlightening. Although, you know, the sewer treatment plant side's not as much. It's interesting, but definitely not the great smelling area.
On the top 10 list.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Wayne.
Thank
Trustee, Town Administrator Stamey?
Mayor,
Yes.
I just wondered, did we need to approve item G, the town issued electronic equipment policy? Because I don't think we did. And if we do, I so move.
I don't believe we needed to approve it. Attorney, Mr. Ann?
I think it's administrative in nature, but I think that it would be appreciated by the administration if the board would go ahead and approve that policy.
Okay. All right. Not a problem. Then, we have a motion from Trustee Jeffrey. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. And we have a second in the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed? All right. And it is passed. And now on to Mr. Stamey and staff reports.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to do 2 updates. So about 10 days ago, we had individually contacted board members to discuss the schedule for construction of the Spirit Canal crossing on County Road 2, which is out by the Silver Peaks frontage. It's kind of a complicated project because it involves the City of Brighton developers, BRICO, and Town of Lochbuie and Town of Lochbuie developers. So there was this fairly large online meeting, and where the contractor and the design engineer discussed the construction schedule. The contractor indicated that they have two options to build. The first option was for a complete closure of traffic on County Road 2 with detours for about an 8-week period. And that would be the most efficient way to build that project. Their concern was that if they try and keep two-way traffic open for the duration of the construction, that would be a 14-week project, and they would not be able to finish that construction during BRICO's window this construction season. That would mean the project would not start until the fall of 2021. So putting it out another year. I did also contact the school, and the superintendent indicated their preference would be to do the closure this year for a number of reasons. I have, with follow-up communications with Brighton staff, they're discussing those two options with their city council tonight. So they will advise me tomorrow what their council's direction has been on this construction schedule. So I will follow up with the board tomorrow on what I learned from the city of Brighton. But I think our board has preferred that we try to get the project done this year as opposed to waiting, extending this another year, which means then the remainder of the Silver Peaks frontage also is further down the road. So that's what we've been trying to work on.
Okay.
So the second item I wanted to just have board members kind of get on their calendars. We're looking at work sessions with the board to talk about town operations and town functions, who does what, and kind of what different roles and responsibilities are. So we're looking at December 8th work session, again starting at 6:30 with Maureen to talk about several legal items that the board needs to learn up front. We're looking at January 12th of a presentation by staff regarding each department and kind of who the people are and how they operate and what they do. January 26th, we're looking at a training work session by CIRSA, which is our Colorado insurance pool. It's our risk sharing agency. And they would talk about board roles and responsibilities. On February 9th, we would have a work session with our water attorney and water engineer. That's Steve Jeffers and Chris Sanchez, who are on the meeting tonight. And then we'd probably do a follow-up meeting on February 23rd, again with Maureen and Jennifer from her office, as well as staff. I know that's a pretty busy schedule, but they're pretty important that we kind of all work together on this type of training. So if you do have conflicts with those nights that they will not work, please let us know and we can try and work for alternate dates or times. So I guess we could get your kind of feedback at some point.
And all of those are at 6:30.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone? Any questions? Go ahead, Trustee Westcott.
Just right off the bat, I know that I have a conflict a couple of those nights. So I think what I'm wondering is is it possible to get those recorded so that if one of us isn't able to attend, that we could at least watch a video of what was discussed?
Yeah, we can. I think because we're doing it on this Zoom format, we can probably manage to record it. I think anybody can choose to record these Zoom meetings. Storing them, I'm not sure how that works, but we can work with.
I wasn't even sure if it was legal, so that was my number one question.
Oh, it's legal. It's just not legally required. So, yeah.
Okay. All right, Trustee Kimmerly.
I will be running a few minutes late next Tuesday, but I'll be there.
All right. Anyone else?
And I know that I do know that I went through some of this with Trustee Westcott and Trustee Kimmerly this summer. And again, even those of you on the board for a while, you're welcome to come, but you're not required to come. It's, it's really, for me, at least like next week, it's basics, municipal law 101, just so we all understand what our limitations and responsibilities are. So.
I'm just going to throw out there that I have a standing obligation on Tuesday nights that are not board nights. And so that tends to be complicated. I can probably make arrangements, but if it's possible to do it on another night, that would be my preference. But
any input there, Steve?
Well, so I guess, does the board have, if there is an alternate night, is there a preference for a night is like Wednesday night?
I'm open to whatever, so.
Wednesday would be fine with me. I'm pretty open.
Yeah, I mean,
Should we go for next Wednesday night instead of next Tuesday night? So that would be the 9th.
anyone have any issue with that? No? Okay.
So maybe we can confirm the 9th, and then perhaps at the 9th, we can confirm the next date, whether it's January 12th or January 13th.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if we can get confirmation on the 9th tonight, I think we just have to play it by ear after that and just kind of email back and forth. So everyone has a chance to check their own schedules.
Okay.
So everybody's aware, my knee surgery is scheduled for the 9th of this month, so I will have my right knee replaced. I will not be there.
Okay. Thank you, Dave.
You're just lazy. You're just lazy, Dave. That's all. All right. Anything else?
That's all tonight.
Okay. All right. Anything from you, Mr. Duran?
Nothing more. Thank you, Mayor.
All right.
Except I did want to say welcome to the new board members. I am looking forward to
Right.
it.
Right. Yeah.
We're going to have a good group.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We're not going to sing Kumbaya, but we're going to get the job done.
We're going to get stuff done for town. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything from you, Ms. Blackstone?
No, welcome to the board, everybody, and feel free to reach out for any questions we can try to help you with. So, but welcome. Thank you.
All right. Mayor, trustee comments. Trustee Ott.
I noticed the water is still flowing through the ditch. Will they be shutting it off in time for the construction?
Yes, if the construction starts, that'll be coordinated with the water flow.
Okay, and the second thing I have is this project that's coming up with Burlington Northern is so big. If it would be convenient for you, Steve, I'd like to be included in the meetings. I can keep my mouth shut. I know nobody will believe that, but I can keep my mouth shut and listen to what they have to say, because I'd like to be involved in what this is going on, because it's such a huge project. It's going to affect so many people.
It is, and I have asked them to come make a presentation to the town board, and they will put that on their schedule.
But what I'm saying is, even any meetings like you had with them on Monday, I'd like to be included in it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, that's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Ott. Trustee Westcott.
I'm excited to be serving with the new board members, and I'm also excited to be serving with the existing board members. It's going to be fun. Thanks everybody for being civically minded.
All right. Thank you. Trustee Jeffrey.
Thanks, Mayor. I also just want to say welcome to all the board members. I want to give kudos to the town staff members and our town attorney, who do a really great job of providing those sessions to help you come up to speed on how this all works and what the process looks like. And I'm looking forward to more people feeling comfortable with making motions and seconds than just Trustee Ott and myself.
All right. Okay, thank you. All right, Trustee White.
Just want to say thank you. I'm excited. This is my first time. I've seen a lot of familiar faces just from talking to people in the town when you were mayor last time, and a couple of my other HOA delegates. So I'm just excited to learn and really learn the ins and outs of things. I'm just very interested in learning as much as possible. So I'm excited. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. Trustee Kermerly. And please correct me on how to say your name properly. I don't want to butcher it.
Jim. It's pronounced Jim.
No, good. We got jokes. I like it. All right.
But anyway, I wanted to, welcome everybody. Looking forward to working with everybody with the challenges we have ahead of us. Just want to make a quick comment of following up on something that Trustee Strauch had mentioned last time, that we had been working on getting donations and then getting food baskets, Thanksgiving food baskets out from the Knights of Columbus. I could say spending a couple hours throwing fixins and turkeys at people. That we did have 50 boxes and birds that went out to residents of Loch Buoy. So just wanted to close that loop on that project and thank everybody that that had helped to make that possible, because as many things went this year, fundraising for that was extremely challenging, but the community stepped up and we were able to help the same number of people out this year as we had in the past. So thank you to everybody.
Good deal. All right, thank you. Trustee Antonopoulos.
I just want to say I'm glad to be here, and I, like Jacqueline, look forward to learning a lot more about how the civic process works, and because I really don't know a whole lot at all yet, but I'm happy to learn.
Thank you. And I will say I am super excited because we have pretty much a whole new board, and you guys are coming in with all new ideas. One of the things I loved about Mr. Ott when he first came on was what he thought the board was and what it actually was were two different things. And he came in and he educated himself, and he actually learned. And he even came. We were talking one day, and he actually said, "This wasn't what I thought it was." And now look at him sitting up here, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, but now he wants to bow out because of a knee surgery. Jeez. Anyway. No, I'm really looking forward to it. We've had a great staff, and we still have a great staff, and now I think we have a great chance with this new board to really do some great things for Loch Buoy, and I'm excited. I'm excited. So, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Hey, Mayor, stay on the line. Mayor, stay on the line. I'm going to teach you something about Zoom.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.